So Google Trends gives you access to the fact, the seasonality. When do you think people search for a shopping trip New York, for example? Yeah, it's literally end of September, beginning of October, into November. It's the only time of year it happens. So again, it's just, what we're doing is we're just going to the customer and we're working backwards. That's all. We're using the tools that are available to actually impact what it is we do and how it is we take the product out. So again, we looked at phraseology. It wasn't really relevant, but it really was timing around Google Trends and stuff like that. Google Media Planner. Anybody used Google Media Planner? It's really interesting, isn't it? Has anyone even heard of Google Media Planner? That's amazing. Us agencies obviously haven't been doing a good enough job, or actually we've been doing a very good job hiding it from everybody here. I'm sorry, am I revealing all the family secrets now? Am I sorry about this? Okay, Google Media Planner, what's that? Well, that's a little tool that allows you to plug in, okay, we did some work for a university last year and they said we want to reach 14 to 17-year-olds, kind of finish the group search, heading into transition year, and we want to do a particular campaign for them. Okay, so we said, okay, 14 to 17-year-olds in Dublin, please. And Google Media Planner comes back with, Facebook has 62% of your audience. Bebo has 10% of your audience. Entertainment.ie has 11% of your audience. And it just basically tells you where your demographic is actually online, where they're spending time. Now, I don't know about you, but if I had a marketing budget, and I do, okay, and I was spending that marketing budget on a mixture of things, and I do, this is the type of information I would want to know before I ever did anything, okay? And that is the thing that the internet allows you to do above all other channels in my mind. Yeah, the Sunday Business Post will tell you, well, we print 120,000 copies, and each copy goes through about 2 sets of hands, and they're ABC1, whatever. But the one thing they can never tell you is, well, how many people read my ad? You know, I mean, it's like, you know, simple stuff like that. What do people actually want to hear? What's the wording they want to hear? Funnily enough, when it comes to the internet, you need to understand as well how people use the web. You need to remember how you use the internet yourself. I always say this to companies, is that your website is not for you. And if you can actually get that, you'll save yourself so much grief. Unfortunately, most of us build our websites from the inside out. We start with the MD and the CEO and the annual report and the share price and our strategic vision and our goals. And then we break down into the various departments. And then underneath the departments, we put the heads and we put the faculties and the this and the that and the and then we bury all the good information down the bottom. Funny enough, your website is not for you, it's for somebody else. So the quicker you realize that, the better. But the point I'm trying to make is that when people come to your website, they're not even looking for you. They're actually looking for themselves. Okay? And again, we see this with websites, that the first website that holds up a mirror to you as a searcher is the one that gets your business, the one that you go into. Okay? So by starting with the customer and working backwards, that when they do actually land on your website, or when you do take that product out to them, you're already on a winner. You're already one step ahead of the game because you're just holding up a mirror to what they're already doing. And people are time poor and very fast and very impatient online. So therefore, you know, you're definitely in there quicker. How am I doing on time?
Another 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay. Is that okay? Would anybody, you know, any questions, problems? Anybody think I'm talking a complete load of utter rubbish? Fantastic. And my next question was going to be on who has the guts to say it, but there's always. Okay, so my point is, guys, very simple. And have I said it enough times? Start with the customer, work backwards. I don't care what industry you're in or what business you're in. It's the first thing I say to every customer I meet when they say, well, we tried that AdWords thing and we tried that website thing. That really doesn't work. And as for that Facebook lark, genie mackers, would you go away? Sure, we wouldn't even know where to start with that. So, well, it's very simple. Start with the customer and work backwards. Krishna Day, who some of you might have heard, she's a bit of a social media guru in Ireland. She lectures on our course, and Krishna's fantastic. She has, you know, 5 steps to effective social media. And guess what step number 1 is? Step number 1 in 5 steps to effective social media is do nothing. Do nothing. She actually says, shut up and listen. Do nothing. Everybody I know and all of my clients, you go to their homepage and they've got the Facebook logo. Yeah, we've got the Facebook logo. Fantastic. And most people, we're on Facebook, we've got the Facebook logo. Oh, look, we've the Twitter logo alongside it as well. Oh, we're laughing. And you click on it and what do you get? Press releases. Press releases or other stuff that's not really very interesting. Okay? You need to take the time to listen and to actually find out what people are doing, how they're acting, how they're reacting, how they're interacting online. You need to take the time to actually do that. So I would actually say with a lot of these things and a lot of campaigns, our first instinct is to do something. Whereas I actually say to people, do nothing. Stop, wait, listen, think for a little while. It's much more effective. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying is that the only reason to do anything online is because your customers are there. How do I actually start? Well, don't start with yourself. Start with them. and work back from them and allow them to inform everything that you take out onto the internet. Is that okay? Can I move on from that? Brilliant, super stuff. So I want to say one other thing, and I actually want to take this from Gareth Dunlop in Ion. You know Gareth up in Belfast. Gareth lectures on the course in Belfast as well, and I saw this slide and I immediately stole it and I said, Gareth, I have got to take that, and I've sent it out to all the lecturers and I've asked as many of them as possible to include it. Gareth has a fantastic view of the world when it comes to websites and stuff like that. He says your website is not your web presence, and I think that's a brilliant way of looking at it. He says your website is one aspect of your web presence, but is not the be-all and end-all. He says that your web presence is made up of three things: your voice, that's your website. Those are the things you say and you control. Second thing it's made up of is your footprint. Those are the other things you do out on the internet. So whether it's directory listings or ads or blogs or forums or whatever it is. And the third aspect of your web presence he calls the shadow. And that's what everybody else says about you online. Okay? Now, the funny thing about it is that when most people think of doing anything digitally, the very first thing they say is, we really need to get our website sorted out. Anybody hear that in the past 6, 9 months, year in your own business? No? Yeah, okay. So we really need to get our website sorted out. Yeah, absolutely, okay. And you'll spend 9 months or a year or 6 months or whatever long it takes, and you'll spend a whole load of effort over here sorting out your website, okay? Don't get me wrong, your website is a crucial part of your web presence, but typically what people do is it's the one thing they understand, so they jump at it. It's the one thing that you might have some expertise or experience in, so you grab hold of it straight away. We're going to form a project group and a project team, and you're responsible for this and you're responsible for that, okay? There's two things I want to pull out of this slide, if you don't mind, just in the last 5 or 6 minutes that we have left. The first thing is this, is that I booked a holiday in Egypt there a couple of years ago, in Sharm el-Sheikh. Anybody ever been to Sharm el-Sheikh down in the Sinai Peninsula, Red Sea, and all the divers go there apparently. I heard it was great. So I was about to literally pay online for the hotel, and my wife rang me up and said, did you check TripAdvisor? I was like, oh, flip, I never checked TripAdvisor. So I went on to TripAdvisor and I opened up the hotel in TripAdvisor, and it was there, absolutely, it was great. And there was, I think there was about 300 reviews of this hotel on TripAdvisor. Funnily enough, in all of the studies of TripAdvisor, I've now progressed to the next stage because we immediately apply a filter in our heads as to the number of reviews on TripAdvisor that pass muster with us in order to actually think that this is a credible hotel. If your hotel has 5 reviews on TripAdvisor, you're really in trouble. You're actually better off not being on TripAdvisor than just having 5 reviews. So there is a level, and I think it's about 60 or 70, at which people start taking you seriously on TripAdvisor as to whether they'll actually look at your hotel. So they passed the, yeah, they're there long enough point. Okay, and then what I looked at was there was 110 reviews were negative and 190 reviews were positive. And I didn't read a single review, but I just didn't like those odds. So that hotel was out. Am I alone on this, or does anybody else use TripAdvisor here and look at things? Okay, there's lots of studies been done on TripAdvisor. There's a fascinating case study on it. If you do TripAdvisor case study on the internet, New York Times as well, you'll find an interesting thing about it. So I found another hotel that was very similar, and it had 280 reviews on it, and it had about 40 were negative, and about 240 were positive. So I really liked those odds, and I started reading some reviews. Okay. The interesting thing was that if you have no negative reviews on TripAdvisor, nobody will book your hotel because nobody believes you could only have positive reviews. So you actually need some negative reviews. The interesting thing about this is that you know yourself, and we all apply these kind of standards and rules, that you know, there's always some idiot in the world that you can't keep happy. Like there's some guy on there and he has his ice cube was too big in his glass or something like that. So he's written a horrible review on TripAdvisor about the hotel or something like that. So we apply all these things. My point to all this is simply, guys, I didn't listen and I didn't believe and I didn't read the information on the company's website. Why? Because all they would have told me was that they were brilliant and a fantastic hotel, and they would have put gorgeous pictures of the hotel and beautiful people sitting around the pool, and it would have been all their stars and their ratings, and they all would have been amazing. Nor did I believe their information that they put online, like the directories of hotels and the directory and listings and adverts and stuff like that. Why? Well, because they're still going to serve me with all the stuff that is portraying them in the best light. What I did was I went to the shadow. I went and I found out, well, what does everybody else think about this? And I believed them before I believed the company itself. Okay? My point in this is start with the customer and work backwards. I'm working with 2 companies at the moment that do not have websites. They have Facebook pages, they have similar to TripAdvisor type site presences, and that's where they're engaging with their target audience, and they're going to allow what they learn there to inform what they put on their website. They're not going to spend 9 months building a website, describing it from the inside out, pitching it out into the market, and then sit there a year later wondering, why is the website no good? They're going to the customer, they're working backwards, and they're allowing the customer to inform the website. I know a company who've moved their customer service onto Facebook. So now you have a problem with customer service, you submit it on Facebook, not on the website, okay? So we're moving more and more towards the shadow, as Gareth would have called it, in terms of whatever. You need to be cognizant of the fact that your web presence extends beyond your own doors. If you only see your web presence as being your website, you're in trouble, okay? It extends way beyond that, out onto the internet, and more importantly, out to what other people actually say about you online as well, okay? That's the first thing I want to understand. Have I 2 minutes left, have I? Where's she gone? Oh, she ran out the door. Okay, I have 2 minutes left. One other thing I want to draw out of this, because it actually was a client really brought it up with me the last day. He said, how would you characterize our digital marketing? I thought that was a very interesting question. I said, well, what do you mean, how would you? He said, how would you characterize what we're doing? He said, we're doing SEO, and we're doing PPC, and we're doing email, we're doing mobile, we're doing this, we're doing affiliate. We've got all these different things kind of going on. But you know, I'm a little bit concerned about how would you characterize it? And I looked at it for an hour, and I realized, I suppose, it kind of hit me a bolt out of the blue. What they were doing was basically trying to move people from here, to their website. They were expending a huge amount of effort and energy and money trying to move the party. Okay? Can I just flag that with you, just as if you are moving down the digital sphere into digital marketing, don't expend huge amounts of money and energy just trying to move a party. So, well, where's the party? Well, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on TripAdvisor, or if you're in the weddings industry, it's in Weddings Online, or if you're in the babies business, it's in, what's the crowd in Galway? Roller Coaster, that's where all the moms gather, or if you're whatever. What we're doing online is we're gravitating towards groups and places and people, and we like hanging out there. And in the same way that we only ever watch 4 or 5 TV stations, despite the fact that we've thousands, we all still tend to gravitate around the same 4 or 5 websites as well, based on our personality, lifestyle, where we are and stuff like that, okay? The mistake a lot of companies can make is that they can exert a huge amount of energy building a website and then standing there roaring at people going, come over here, we're over here, way, come over here, okay? So a lot of digital effort and a lot of digital spend can go into doing things like that. And rather than doing that, why not just save yourself the effort and just go join the party where it's happening? Okay? I think that would be a much more effective way to actually, or even if you're not going to spend a lot of time there, at least start there and work back from there. So if you are devising a web project and building a website and doing stuff like that, I think it would be well worth actually going to the customer and working back from there. Okay? So let me go, that's the sales slide. I won't do that. Let me wrap up with just the last slide there again. There you go. So, why do digital? Well, there's only one reason, because that's where your customers are. What's the right approach to anything digital? Start with the customer and work backwards. And where's the right place? I don't know, but it's wherever they are. Okay? Not where you'd like them to be, but wherever they are is the best place to actually start and engage with them. Is that okay? And I'm going to leave the parting slide up there because I'll get killed by our sales director if I didn't actually take the time to tell you that the Digital Marketing Institute is doing professional diplomas in Dublin, part-time, 1-week boot camps, full-time over a week in Dublin, November, December. And we have a postgraduate diploma in digital marketing, a 1-year program that starts. Again, there's an intake in January and stuff like that. And with that, I will bid you adieu and good day. And thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Ian. We're going to get our next speaker set up. So while that's sort of happening, Ian, you're not sure whether you can stay to the very end.
Oh, yeah,
so,
yeah.
So if anybody's got any questions for Ian while we're getting set up for the next speaker, please feel free to ask away.
Questions, rotten fruit, anything you've got on you?
Anything on?
No?